I know.
Just, we just talking about cars.
I can watch it. It's my favorite topic. I go to the car show.
That's not how he means too much.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Welcome. Awesome. Welcome to our Feel Good Pop Art Popcorn Party. I'm your host, Aaron, aka Almo Saves, and I'm joined today by Arsenal co-founder Kat Federer and Matthew Dunnerstick, as well as critic and multidisciplinary patron of the arts, Kenny Schachter, and last but not least, art icon and the star of the show, Deborah Kass. How are y'all doing today?
Great.
Say that with such conviction.
I did. I was smiling.
Say that pop art feel good thing again 5 times fast.
It's a mouthful. It's a mouthful.
Pretty impressive. Maybe you should be speaking instead of me.
Exactly.
We're left to our own devices.
Well, here we are. Hi, all. I suppose we're here already. I don't know, the other people disappeared, but let's assume, oh, great. Here
We're
we
here.
are.
We can toggle in and out. We're
We don't
here.
need to see them. Let's just look at each other. Get us
Fabulous.
back.
So we're also excited to be here. Gloomy day outside, but cheerful in here. Speaking about Deb's sale, Deborah's sale, that goes live for the public. Deborah, excuse me.
It was Deborah. I thought that was some Long Island pronunciation.
It might
Well,
be.
speaking of Long Island,
Hundreds,
these two.
okay, let us just
It's
get
her
started.
time. Yeah, let's get
Don't worry,
started.
I'll
It's
talk
already
about
started.
Exactly. So we're just talking about cars before, also a shared sort of geographical lineage, you know.
That's where I'm going to. So, I have to say I have the chills because I'm in awe to be next to such a great artist who I could weep. I'm so amazed to have these guys in my house, in my office. And yeah, it's very exciting, very inspiring, and it means a lot to me that they all came here, so I didn't have to schlep anywhere else. But I'm just a fan person, and I love Deb's work, and also her partner, wife, Patty. She's been married since 2011, which is pretty extraordinary. And when I was doing a little bit of research, of course, being the most unprofessional person in the art world, I actually did some research and I have questions. And I realized that we're both from the same place in Long Island, and Deb has a house in the town where I was raised in, where I was brought to from the hospital in Long Island. So we're both from Long Island. Long Island, I'm trying to, like, if I had 2 drinks, the accent would come out. I haven't noticed any from you. But let's start there. So Long Island is where we're like 15 to 17 miles away from New York City, but for me, it could have been 17 light years away from the city.
Definitely. Yes.
But you seem to have a cultural jump start. I was self-educated in art, never even knew galleries existed until my 20s. You started from Texas originally, grew up in Long Island, but attended the Art Students League with money you saved up when you were 14 years old. How on earth did that happen?
Well, I always knew I wanted to be an artist, so I started reading the arts and leisure section too of the New York Times very young. Somewhere I picked up.
You like smoking a cigar and reading?
Yeah, I was smoking a cigar. I was arguing about formalism, and I was reading, the New York Times. But somehow I found out. That's a really good question. I know how. A friend of mine who became a new friend when I was 13 or 14 was taking lessons at the Art Students League, and she took me. And I forgot how I started, and she actually reminded me. So that's how my friend Kim was doing it, and she said, you should do this with me, so I did.
And was that like live model drawing?
Live model, yeah, 5-minute, 30-second poses, 1-minute poses, 5-minute poses, 20-minute poses.
I struggled to draw a stick figure.
I used to be quite good at that.
So
I mean, at stick figures, no. And I got really good at, that. I completely lost the skill, but
we could be related, I think.
we're all related, let's face it.
Okay, so now let's segue into a little later in life. It's funny because among the influences you cite for your work and your career are artists like Frank Stella. Amazing enough, like Frank Stella did an NFT project well into his 80s with Arsenal. And the crazy thing is that none of us are young here. Well, most of us are not even here, I should say. And she's young.
Youngish. Thank you. Thank you.
People, it's really it's a mistake for people to think that art with technology and NFTs and blockchain is a young person's game, because this has nothing to do with anything like that. It has to do with being open-minded. And anyway, let's talk about an issue that is burning in the press these days, today, yesterday, last week, appropriation. And artists like Richard Prince and Andy Warhol. And Andy Warhol is a significant pillar of your practice. Okay, so what are your thoughts on recent court decisions about appropriation and how the courts are so conservative? The government, the former administration, they destroyed Roe v. Wade. We're going back in time. And even Richard Prince said, like, something I think is very poignant, it's all a free concert now. Like with rap music and sampling, and we're inundated with buckets of information. Why create stuff from scratch when there's a plethora of great stuff to work from and change?
Well, that was exactly my premise using Andy Warhol in 1992. That was exactly what I was thinking. And the work that immediately preceded it, which was, I used to call it sampling in 89 to 92 to like.
Was it inspired by music, that kind of?
Well, yeah, I mean, this is
nomenclature.
Very much so, because I grew up in a house with a father who loved jazz.
Can you play any instruments?
I can't, and it's one of my big regrets in life. But that had to do with my parents and their, fucked up economic situation. I mean, I really wanted to play the piano.
What was there? He was a dentist, so what was the economics?
He was a dentist who really preferred to play the saxophone. He died really young, as I told you, and he almost never went to work. And he was like the only unsuccessful dentist in the universe. And
in Long Island.
So
the cavities were piling up.
I have terrible teeth. I've had so many root canals, but his office wasn't in Nassau County; it was in Suffolk County, and it was like Nowheresville. It was like Ag Central. There was just nobody there, and he barely worked.
Were they encouraging to you?
No, not at all. No, discouraging.
Same. I did have a guitar when I was about 8, and I peed in it. And that was the end.
That's hilarious.
That was the end of my music career. Do you speak any other languages?
Well, I took Spanish in high school, and I'm a very, very limited person.
I struggle with English.
And I don't struggle with English. I just struggle with words now. Yeah. But that's new.
Well, I love to learn. Have you ever had pushback or responses from any? Did you ever meet Andy Warhol?
No, but I saw him around all the time. Because as Liz Smith said, he would go to the opening of a door. Mm-hmm. He was everywhere. He was around.
I used to steal my parents' station wagon, go to Studio 54 when I was 16, take some Quaaludes, and there was Andy Warhol and
the
Hemingway sisters and OJ and Truman.
Yeah, I did none of that stuff. Yeah, and I was age appropriate, and I did none of that stuff. I wasn't 16.
If you don't mind, can I circle back just a little to what Kenny, was asking before about the Warhol decision a couple of months ago? I know that Deb, I'll just say, spent several years. How long?
8 years.
8 years on the board of the Warhol Foundation.
Right.
So this is obviously something that you were intimately involved in.
Right. And
you had a great show at the Warhol Museum, which is fun.
Yeah, I had a retrospective at the Warhol Museum. I was on the Warhol board for 8 months. But
we won't get into that.
8 years.
We won't get into the
what?
The Warhol Museum seems to be floundering. I would just say,
Kenny, let's stay on one topic, can we? Otherwise, we're just going to do this the whole time.
I love when you speak to me like that.
I'm sure you do. So, okay. Let's go back to the Warhol decision, but let's not even go back because that's water under the bridge. Your original question, I'll remind you,
I remember.
was about
Warhol.
This Richard Prince decision, which I literally have not spent any time reading about, the one that just happened. But the Warhol decision
on Prince.
No,
the
Warhol
singer.
decision.
Yeah.
Yes, was Goldsmith v. Warhol, then Warhol v. Goldsmith. That went to SCOTUS all I can say is, if you want my opinion about it, go to the Neil Cottrell Courtside podcast, because this summer, Adam Weinberg and I talked to Neil Cottrell about the decision. And honestly, I didn't understand it, as many of us on the board. I'd already cycled off the board, but we've been involved with the appeals, and it is really complicated, and most of us who are not lawyers on the board, which is all of us, didn't quite understand the issues. But this summer, I took myself to law school because I got an email from Neil Cottrell going, would you do this? And I just freaked out because he's like a hero in my house. And I'm also a great fan of the people I'm fans of. And I just wrote to him, I can't believe I got an email from Neil Cottrell. Like, you have no idea what that means in my house. This is like major. So I had to really learn about it, which I did. But the short answer would be, it's really bad for artists.
Have you ever had problems with your appropriation work?
No, because from day one, this is interesting, because Neil told me, which I did not know, that my Red Deb, which is one of our prizes, the Debs, was actually in an amicus brief that the Rauschenberg Foundation put together and the Brooklyn Museum signed on to, in support of the World Foundation, as an example of transformation. Now, for me, I'm never really going to have a problem, because I'm not using other people's photography. I'm just using someone else's style, which at this point is a filter. But I did it before there were filters. But you can put any photo into, and do an Andy Warhol filter, I don't know what it would call, and make yourself look like an Andy Warhol painting. But this work is from 30 years before. I did it by hand. You know what I mean?
So you've never taken a specific work and appropriated it, but more the style of a particular artist?
I have worked with artist styles, not maybe a Frank style. I don't know. I don't know that you could, sort of like, this was part of the conversation. I don't know if it got edited out, or I don't remember if it was in it, but blues use all the same chords. You can't trademark chords. You can't copyright a chord progression. So I'm not sure you can copyright style. Get it?
I got it. Were you testing me now?
No, you just look really serious, and I'm like, is he thinking? He's processing.
I also think, funny enough, what about, okay, so now to go a little further afield, because of some of the things you've spoken about, what are your thoughts on AI?
That's such a vast topic. I don't even know where to start, but I recently had to do something, and I thought, let me try practicing with Let me try ChatGPT and see what it would say about my work, And this is my only experience with AI.
And what was your impression of ChatGPT?
It sounded like a bad undergrad paper. It was accurate-ish, but just kind of not interesting.
I mean,
but I don't understand. Like, I didn't understand this case till I spent really 3 weeks reading every single thing about it, including the decisions, the dissent. Well, I knew the precedent, and also I talked to a couple lawyer friends about it, but there's a lot of writing around this decision. But the decision itself, the Sotomayor decision and the Kagan dissent, which were fascinating. And then Neil Cottrell's, summation of it for me and Adam, who also said to me, I don't know, but now we both understand it. Yeah.
Well, with the Richard Prince decision, he settled on the eve of trial.
Yes.
His studio claimed that he never capitulated and never accepted that what he did was an infringement. But the opposing side has come out saying that he did accept an infringement. He paid $650,000 and he lost. So again, it's going to be a further constriction of artists' freedom to appropriate. And Instagram is such a wide open kind of.
It's not good for artists. It's not good for. I mean, Kagan's dissent was really smart, and Roberts agreed with her. But it's as if they didn't understand how art has been made forever, which is art comes from, among other things, other art.
How would you feel if your specific artworks were part of the pool in something like Dali or Midjourney, where other artists can?
They are, in fact, her artworks are. Recently, I guess somebody, it was released a list of 16,000 artists who were scraped for Midjourney. Deb, your name is very much on that list, so it's less of a hypothetical, more of an actual overnight.
So what in practice? I mean, I don't even know what any of those words mean. So what does it mean?
It means that,
Someone can imitate me imitating the world?
well, it certainly doesn't.
Your
mean
work
totality.
has been incorporated into the image foundational imagery that constitutes the database for people to search from. A lot of artists have banded together and they're threatening lawsuits, as are journals like the New York Times.
Who actually filed the suit, right? It's not just a threat.
And various artists I've read are protesting the fact that their art has been into this pool, and other people can use your work as a building block that will influence the output of their search prompts on.
But given the fact that, I mean, my guess is what they're using is my Warhol work. So
Right, it's a style.
it's a style. I mean, why not? To me, because I don't see anyone taking an image of mine and they can have a Deb.
We're talking about technology, and someone's phone keeps pinging, ding,
That's
It's not
ding.
mine, it's
That's
not mine.
mine.
I was making sure mine's on silent.
Someone's really trying to get a hold of you.
But it is a strange, I mean, I don't know if it's a perversion, but it's strange that right now courts are clamping down on what fair use means. While
Yes.
technology in a certain way isn't expanding what fair use means.
That's
Two
right.
things seem paradoxical.
But that's just like the first person who I talked to about this before Neil Kopshall got in touch, like 2 months before, on a trip, was a lawyer who, my opening gambit was, what you think of the Warhol decision? And she's someone who's been she worked on the Prince Cariou thing and had worked a lot with the Warhol Foundation, and actually her whole life has been about appropriation. And as a lawyer, because she started as an art historian. So she had a lot to say on the subject, but basically, I'm blanking. I mean, I don't know. It's so
It's kind of
complicated.
ChatGPT right now.
I mean,
Yeah.
do you, like,
I mean, I said car. This was on a trip, and I said, I don't understand this decision, but we're going back to the SCOTUS decision again. I'm sorry, but it's like, but here's what I don't understand. If they're saying this is a limited issue because it's license to license, what happens if it's art and it's because it's functioning in the same market?
Right, and I think you explained to me that that was sort of very heavily rested
Right.
on
And there's
that part of fair use.
Two issues. One is fair use and freedom of expression always trumped commercial use till this decision. This inverted it. Now commercial trumps free expression. So there's this couple questions, like why wasn't this a First Amendment issue or argued that way? But it was because fair use has been so established before. And that's where I was going with this. And this woman said to me, not unlike Roe, and this is right after it had been decided, just like Roe, they ignored all precedent. She said, I've worked 25 years on these issues, and like Roe, it just undid my entire life's work. They ignored precedent. They did change, she didn't say this, but they did change the commercial being the number one issue versus free expression being the number one issue. That was extremely clarifying. And undoing precedent was extremely clarifying. So yeah, so to your point, where medicine and the entire medical establishment understands women's health needs, what has this Supreme Court been doing? Shutting down literal health for women and bodily autonomy.
before we jump fully into the NFTs, and I'd like
Yes.
to also talk like what are the royalties that you take on the NFTs? And I
Talk to this person because I'm
take it that you claim a copyright claim.
Yeah, I mean,
When I issue NFTs now, I take zero royalty, and I don't even I elect Creative Commons, which is I don't even claim a right of copyright in my own artwork to be a little more anarchistic.
sure. I mean, I dig that. We are a little more old school just at Artists' Rights Society in the sense that we have, petitioned a lot for artist resale. So NFTs were an exciting, and actually, incidentally, just bringing up Frank
Stella has been
he's
crusader
right,
for
exactly.
royalties
He's the
for 50
crusader
years.
of such, and I think that was a big draw for him in getting involved in NFTs. Really less for himself and more as a standard for others to see. One can get paid in perpetuity for their work. We do still set a royalty at 10%. Of course, that is not always, respected.
Pretty
these
easy
days.
to
It's
circumvent.
pretty
I should
easy
say
to
a
circumvent.
little life hack. What do you think about royalties for artists and your work when it resells?
Well, it would be nice.
You pay attention to your auction results and the market.
Yeah, but that they're so bad that,
They won't be for that much longer.
if you have anything to do with it, Kenny.
I'll try.
Okay.
What about you, Kenny? Are you into resale or no?
I don't really care.
Yeah.
I mean, someone just called me and they said, "Oh, we have to talk to you. We want to sell one of your paintings." I'm like, "Great. Why don't you sell more?" But I wanted, before we get more into the NFT, just a quick question. Like, we're talking about feminism. Your art has been I think part of your problem is the only thing worse than being behind the time. You don't have a problem. I have problems. The only thing worse than being behind the times is to be too far ahead of the time. And an artist that I really respect is Tracy Emin, and she made work about abortion and subjugation and prejudice for decades, and you have too. I would call your work almost like a kind of pop feminism. Like when you talk about this kind of retardation in precedent and in various established things like Roe v. Wade, the whole world seems to be stumbling back and has done since 2016 when we had a certain president whose name I can't bring myself to name. But what do you think about that whole, your work is feminist.
And the question is?
Well, how do you feel about the state of affairs?
I think it's dreadful. I mean, obviously. And, I think a lot of people my age, women my age in particular, are really freaked out that our whole life's work is being undone. And I've certainly had this conversation with art historians.
Marilyn Minter's work.
And other, people in other fields and other women artists. It's like, every Roe v. Wade happened, I was 20 or something, this was how we grew up. I grew up in second wave feminism. Like I came to consciousness in the 70s. So
these things we took for granted.
Everything we've taken for granted because
That was the problem.
white male supremacy is in a panic.
It doesn't seem to be panicking. They seem
to be winning.
Destroy the whole.
Well, they're going to take it down. And, Nietzsche said men rather will to nothing than not will.
That sounds like.
And we're living this.
Putin and the whole.
Oh, yeah. And it's all about, it's power never gives up without a fight. We're in the fight. And, I don't understand why women haven't shut this country down. They've taken away bodily autonomy, which I'm sorry was what the Civil War was fought over, the right to control your own body and your own labor and your own birth, forced birth. It's like women were bred during slavery. That stopped at the end of the Civil War. You couldn't do that anymore. Well, they're breeding us again. And for the honor, we get to pay taxes. So I'm just like, well, taxation without
more taxes.
Taxation without representation is tyranny. This is tyranny. This is slavery. I don't understand why women, straight women, get your shit together, are not shutting down the economy. And it's like, I always say about my whole career, thank you so much for the honor. Thank you so much for the honor of paying taxes and not letting me control my own body. Like, I don't know why people aren't, just shut the fucking thing down.
Let's talk. One of your coolest pieces, which is an icon, is the Oi Yo. And here's a really dumb question.
Oh, good.
Where did that idea come from? Were you in the shower or walking down the street?
Well, obviously, you have not done your research, Kenny, or you would know. You would know.
Well, my tail is firmly between my legs.
You got me
at
all
this point.
excited about man, and I
Spank
dumped
me a little
on
more.
you. You were the
Notice
closest.
how my chair is the lowest.
He's the closest white man in the room. I had to do it. Okay, so basically the story is I'm standing in front of Wolf at MoMA. I was just at MoMA. Like, I'm in the hood. Let me go. I got a pass. I don't pay $30. Let's just go in for an hour. And I was just looking at the Ebrachet, and I just thought, oi. That's all. And then I made it because that's what I do. And then there was a reflection in a window and it said, yo. And I said to a friend in my Andy way, should I paint that? And she said, yes. And I painted it. And that's
But
how
you
it
can't
happened.
see, it's great that it was three-dimensional.
Right,
Then
so
it
that
has a
was
double
a
another meaning.
Very fortuitous collaboration, which is my favorite thing to do, is to collaborate like with you guys.
Accidents are fun.
And, we kind of came up with the idea of, well, it'd be good to see it at the same time.
Is that a permanent installation at Stanford University?
Yeah, they bought it.
Fantastic. And
Yes,
it's in the Brooklyn, it's at the Brooklyn.
they bought that
Museum.
too.
Wonderful.
Yeah, now there's one in front of the,
I want one. Did you make little cute ones I can put on my desk?
they're not that little and there are very few left and they're quite expensive, but I'd be
Can
happy to
you
discuss
make-
that.
Can you make me a little cute
No,
one?
I don't know what, clay?
I don't know.
A little
I'll
Gumby
send it to
version?
Send it to my factory in
We can
China.
talk about that, it's not a bad
Okay,
idea.
We
so-
do have a snow globe. we can get.
Back to
That's
the-
right, we
No,
can have
I-
a snow globe.
That's
and-
I want the
Oh.
3D thing.
It is 3D.
The snow globe.
I want the
Fabulous.
words. Picasso painted Yo Picasso, when he was like 19. It's such a
Well,
great painting.
It is partially Yo Picasso. I mean, that's part of my thinking. It's like, it's Yo Picasso, it's Spanish, it's,
He was a mercurial, misogynistic human being, but I just think that if he was around today, he's so smart, he would have gotten his shit together and figured it out, how to behave better as a human being.
well, that's sort of the point, except he would have an entire political party behind him to
Yeah.
say, no, you don't.
Okay, so
Look at our king rapist.
did you?
Ugh,
I'm not going there.
king of rape.
Did you ever think in a billion years that you would do an NFT? Those three dreaded. The art world has recoiled against NFTs. The art world hates change, hates innovation, and I've worked in a billion different careers, not by choice. I've had to for economic necessity. Nothing prepared me for how backward-looking and conservative the art world model that we all live and work in is based on like 17th century male-dominated transactions.
That's sort of what my work's been about, yeah.
How did an NFT come about with Arsenal? They approached you, but how did you feel when you were first approached for it?
Well, and also, Deb, sorry, I need to interrupt, but you
Please.
did have some experience speaking with others about
Yes, I did.
NFTs in the
You're right.
past, so even back then,
I forgot that part because it didn't happen.
What is that part?
No, I was talking to another, what do we call it? Company? Platform about maybe doing something, but we never got very far. And then crypto crashed.
Yeah.
And they kind of disappeared in my life. I don't know what happened to them. And then these guys approached me, and since I work with ARS regularly, the trust is already there, and they had the wherewithal to do it. And we really did have fun. And what did I tell you? I said two things. One, this is not about expanding my practice into the digital space. It's not art.
I beg to differ.
And two, I want to have a good time. Those are the two things.
Well,
And three, I'd like to make some money.
listen, you made something. Anything that comes out of you, whether it's a poop or an NFT,
My poop is on.
that's what Freud said. That's the first stirring of art, and he said collecting habits come from bad toilet training. But your NFT is art. I'm sorry. I'm gonna
thank you.
argue with
So
you.
and
Also, I think that what's so super fucking cool about it, if I may, is that a lot of people will just do it. And what's extraordinary and paradigm shifting about blockchain related art is it's not a static thing that radiates its artiness. This is a fucking revolution. You look at an artwork, God knows I got plenty, but typically you see a drawing or a sculpture or a painting, and that's a fixed thing that you look at, and it's a one-way conversation that's transformative. It changed my whole life. It imbues my life with meaning. But I think for what makes NFTs, like I said, paradigm shift, a schism. Is that how you say that?
Paradigm shift, I think.
Yeah,
is what you-
okay. Well, I mean, it's they're participatory. You use gamification, some of the real buzzwords or what the kids like in the space. You've employed all these elements that make this an artwork, and I will say it again, which is relates to your work, incorporates your body of work, and then it plays on the things that make NFTs so great. It's generative, one of the key buzzwords. It changes. Each person has their own experience with it. It's exciting, it's fun, it's participatory. These are the things. A lot of people will say an NFT is a dissemination, a delivery system, a commercial, plain and simply another way to make money, trade money, a derivative of a financial substitute. But your thing is art. You engage, you participate, you participate in this digital slot machine, and that dictates by chance, randomly, algorithmically, computationally defined, and you get this unique work, and it's really cool.
Well,
And it
that's
looks great.
because these guys knew what they were doing, and we went through several ideas, but the interactiveness was the consistent thing.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and the aesthetic as well of a slot machine. There was
Yeah.
something that felt so true to you.
Right, and it's all based on my work. It's
Right,
all,
of course.
you know, but I think another good thing we did was get a couple of young graphic designers involved. So it wasn't just all my work. There's different visual stuff that's not my style or whatever to just make it more interesting. Like let's let Nami do 15 words,
Right,
and let's
right.
let this one do 20 words. And you know,
What do you mean? Can you take us
This is a great segue too, because we have we have a room full of people looking at about who have been joining, different guests, and we would like to bring some of them on if you guys are ready.
Please.
So we have Deborah. You met Brian Brinkman on Twitter Live, and here's your buddy now.
here's my
Hi, Deborah.
Hi, Brian.
How are you? Do you hear me okay?
How about you?
Okay, great. I'm doing well. And hey, Kenny, how are you?
Bye.
And who's off camera?
We have a
There you are. How you guys doing today? Congratulations on this drop, and I was just really enjoying the conversation. I mean, Kenny, you know, I've followed your work since you joined Nifty Gateway, and that feels like what, 4 years ago? 4 years ago?
4.
Yeah, and so you've always done a great job, kind of connecting the traditional world and the NFT world, and so I feel like I've learned a lot from both your humor in your work and also just seeing you in a million documentaries.
Thank you very much. I got my match here.
I know. Well, I've had the pleasure of talking with Deborah a lot, and I'm so excited that she's joined this space because, like you were saying, there's a lot of buzzwords, but this is very clearly, to me at least, the evolution of art. Digital art is never going to go away. It's only going to evolve and get more and more a part of our lives. And so embracing it versus avoiding it is definitely the better way to go.
I have to say, that's a great point. The ETH is in the ether, but the most important thing, the fundamental thing that gets me so thrilled to have this conversation, not to mention you in my house on my chair, is that you're an artist whose work I've respected for 30 years, and you're doing an NFT. The fact that you're doing it, and with an open mind and embracing this technology and incorporating it, it's now part of your history, and it's a great thing.
Thank you.
So
But part of it is because I've been doing this so long and I'm so bored with it. I'm bored with the model that you're mentioning about. I can't stand it. It's the art. It is so regressive. It's I've had I've been in the business for 40-ish years. I mean, I didn't have.
has it gotten any better? No.
Well, no. I mean,
No.
it's just filled with bad people in a crappy, unregulated business. And, unlike other artists, I mean, it's weird. I've managed to survive without another job since I was fired from Brook Street Bar in 1980. I don't
For bad
remember.
bartending.
2, waiting. Girls were not allowed. For being a grumpy waitress.
I can
Literally.
imagine you criticizing what kind of manners do you have?
no, I have no manners. That would never come up.
Not
So-
you, your clients.
Anyway, so, I have been supporting myself badly and well, but like this. For
See.
decades, I've been in the business, in the market, in one way or another. I've had 7+ dealers. And it's I've seen so much happen. I see the bigger picture, which we're not going to go into here. It's kind of boring and predictable. And at this point in my life, I'm just tired of the business part being
Strangulating.
Also, it just doesn't like women, you know? It just doesn't like women my age. It doesn't like women of my generation, and that started in the 80s. Like, it just has really been bad for women painters for my whole adult life. And it's just been really, really, really hard, and I've had it better than most.
You see things changing.
So we
now.
like,
And
Reasons.
so, you know, yes, things are changing in different ways that, you know, but I see us all as we live in moments of history. We cannot fight it. Like Lincoln says, you can't fight history. And I understand the context now, looking back at 40 years, that everything comes because of economics, politics, history as it's happening, and we're all part of it, and you can't fight it, even when you're like me and want to change it. You can try, but I'm tired. So an NFT is like, why the hell not? Why wouldn't I do it? It's so fun. And my whole
let's see this.
now is to have a good time, because it hasn't been
We're
a
having
particularly
fun.
good time.
So-
We're having fun. I love this.
So we have a group of people ready to have a good time. We have some people coming up for test spins. So Brian, will you take the first honors? I'm gonna try to enable share screen.
Oh,
So
We're taking pictures.
okay, we're gonna switch.
Come on. Oh, here we go. NFTs live. Let's see
Yeah.
it. Let's
Can
do
you,
it. I want some NFTs in my wallet, folks.
I don't even know. I want to watch this work because I haven't seen it.
I
Can you
see
do
it.
the share screen button, Brian? Do you see it?
We see the screen.
Yeah, hold on.
Is my mic
Oh,
working
wait,
now?
hold on, no, hold on. Oh, wait.
Come on,
Um,
get the technology
you
together.
see the screen? I think it's in the side panel there.
Okay,
You might
the
have to bring
side
it to
panel on the
stage.
left, change yours to share screen. And then
Now I don't hear you guys. One second.
Oh, yeah.
Do you hear me okay now?
we can. On this
Okay, cool. Okay, I hear you. I have the screen shared. Do you see it? It's coming in.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
See.
I don't see it, but you guys. Okay. All right. So now I believe I dragged this coin over.
wait, we can't see your screen.
Oh, let me stop sharing and restart.
love it.
Let me see.
Technology without technology problems. They go hand in
Yeah.
hand
So on the left,
with the
just
screen.
click the share screen
Right.
button. And then click add media source screen.
Yeah.
And then what I'll do is
I see it in the left panel showing up, but I don't see it here. Yeah, I don't hear anybody anymore.
it's
The one with
can you
the
hear me?
There we go.
fire on
Okay.
it. That
Okay, so on the left, share screen. Here, I'm going to share my screen, how to share screen.
I have to see it. Let's make a smoke shot. Let's see. Cars are my gateway drug
Okay.
to artists.
I can see
I'm
that.
sharing my screen,
I didn't know
which
it
you all
existed.
should be able to, well, I was.
What?
Remember
Yeah.
that 60s phone, like baby blue with the thing and white? First, you know, he had a Hillman Minx before anyone.
A Hillman Minx.
Hello.
I lived in England. I had a Hillman Imp because I love the name Imp.
If there are any car fans listening,
So-
no.
Imagine a car called an Imp. It's like the impudent. It's like a male impudent
Yeah.
car in a four-wheel thing with an engine.
Somehow Diane has a Scion 6.
Whoa.
Well, maybe see if someone else can share their screen.
Me too. I can't drive an automatic. My mind.
I have an 18-year-old Scion.
That's crazy.
I've only had, my first car was a South Station wagon, and I bought it for $50. I've only.
Ryan, what was your first car?
My first car?
Hmm.
I believe it was a Geo Prism that I bought from a neighbor. It was really bad. Or actually, no, it was a Plymouth Acclaim, if I remember.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was a fancy kid.
I just went up with him.
No, my father bought a Hillman. My first car was a South Station wagon, 1967 red. I bought from an architecture student at Carnegie Mellon for $350. Didn't tell my parents. And it was a two-stroke.
And it was reliable.
It was fabulous. It's a long story. It existed for a very long time.
I had a Fiat convertible designed by Pininfarina that broke down on the 59th Street Bridge on the way home.
Ouch.
I had a car that
My 68 back
pour
was,
water into, otherwise it would overheat.
So you need a cool car to that to beat.
well, I've got my Scion, which is like a Flintstone
Who
mobile.
makes that? I don't know if that
It's
is.
an old Toyota. It's the box.
Oh, right.
That was like the only book I took from the car show before it came out. Like I knew I wanted it
Why?
because it looked like a kid's drawing of a car, like exactly how a kid draws a car. And it's about in 2005. It's really old. It only has 64,000 miles on it because we have another car. So we're both.
Practical. Oh.
So,
Okay,
you know.
Deborah, Kenny, are you all there?
Yes.
Okay, I think we can see my screen now.
Yes.
Our
So
next
I'm gonna-
podcast will be about the
cars.
car show.
Yeah.
It's slightly complicated,
Car
actually.
talk.
Remember
Oh my God.
Hey,
Yeah.
Four different artists.
all right, I'm gonna meet you guys.
I love car talk.
All right, so I'm gonna connect
Wow.
my wallet.
Let's go. I'm
We're
so
gonna connect my wallet, and we're
Get
gonna
it into my wallet.
All right, so I have
This is so exciting.
All right, here we go.
Real time.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
drag it over. All right.
We see it. Oh, there we go.
Oh yeah.
This is history.
Me alive
Oh,
once.
Recorded for posterity.
Ooh, now I am faced with the essential dilemma. Do I keep this artwork or do I spin again?
Oh.
And I can claim
Spin it.
it.
Ooh.
Or
This one
you
tells
know what?
a basic human
I'm
need.
gonna go again. Let's see.
Right, one. Oh, it's so cool.
Oh, this is so pretty.
Oh, it
Be
looks
real
fantastic.
black.
Oh.
That's good.
I love that.
All right, so there we go. We have a claim. So
And how many are you minting altogether?
up to 777
Why is that?
because it's a nice
Casino.
additional number slot machine.
It's the jackpot number.
I
Yeah.
have 7 on my chain.
Now, Brian, you
Doing
want
the
to
arithmetic.
try that one, or you want to try to share?
I have it sharing on the left side there. Is it still not working? It should look like the casino thing in my screen.
Yeah, I don't
that's it.
see it.
Come on, kids.
I know. You think this would be something? Did it pop up there now? It's grayed out. You might have to bring it to stage, but maybe it's given that same problem.
No.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, we
Okay.
did it. We did it.
Oh,
Okay, let's do it.
All right, you guys ready?
Yep.
Bringing it
Okay.
over.
Very impressive.
Whoa.
Well, now I
Too
see.
many guys.
All right, we're gonna spin it. Now I gotta make that choice. It's gonna be tough.
Black and anger a lot. Yes.
So wait, how many of your artworks constituted the building blocks of this project?
Yeah, if we could also maybe just give us a little context. The name of this sale is called Feel Good Spins for Feel Bad Times, but that's actually an iteration or an outgrowth, if you will, of Feel Good Paintings for Feel Bad Times. And that is where most of these works derive from.
That's a new series of works you've done.
No, it's an old series of work. Yes.
And
Kenny.
so, do you want this, Brian, or do you want to spin again?
I like it, but for the fun of
For the fun.
entertainment, let's give it another spin.
That's a great
Nice.
title.
What's that?
Feel good paintings for feel bad times.
All
Thank
right.
you. I didn't, not 20, I mean, this was my
Like
first,
my
my
first
first show. That was good. 2007 at Paul Castman Gallery.
Wow. That's
Then
amazing.
2010 was more feel good paintings for feel bad times.
This is a feel good
That
digital. awful.
Right, and so
All right.
we
Should we spin
started
one more?
Yeah. Let me switch you back.
All right, we're going
Okay.
one more.
Yeah, one more.
And this seemed perfect for Trump.
Have you seen Bush's picture?
Oh, I got Trump.
Oh, Trump with love.
Trump with love.
Okay, now Brian. Now
Whoa, so
We
good.
got ready to read it. I got Macaboff.
Blow up the
As long as
screen.
they're paying.
So that was an
Trump with
example
love. is
of, I'm going to screen share you again. That's an example of a jackpot. So
Oh,
because you have one of
Hold on,
the,
don't go anywhere.
because you have a Trump
With my
or a
Trump.
Deb, you actually get a bonus token, which you could think about if you want to spin now, or you have until the end of February to spin.
oh, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Is it automatically added?
Yep. Yeah, you might
It's
have
up to you.
read it.
I can let other people spin if you want to.
Yeah, let's do
move
Noah
along.
next. I see him queued up.
That's awesome.
So Brian, let's. I'm gonna take your screen off. I'm gonna bring Noah on stage. Here we go.
And while we're bringing that person in, let me just give a little context as well. So in her, I'm sorry, Deb, you know this better than I, so interrupt me anytime. But in that series, Feel Good Paintings, it was basically text-based work. So what we did with Deb is we took all of the words or phrases, right? We took all of the phrases and sort of separated them into just singular words. Those words are what you're seeing. So these are all part of Deb's original lexicon for her Feel Good painting.
Right.
And the way that we have, created it is that obviously each has a graphic and then they're generated to come together to form these sort of new, absurdist, funny, whatever, heartbreaking sometimes, triptychs.
Right, and in the paintings, they made sense, but we broke them up and we were really careful about the words we picked. We had a really participatory, we voted on a lot of things like design and which words are good and which ones we should take out. And we were really selective about what there were 777 words.
So
No,
how many words are there?
500 words.
200 or 300 words.
Okay, and because
Well, from the total list.
you want it. What?
Yeah, there was like about 120-ish possibilities, and some words have variants.
I think what's really interesting for me is there's a history of utilizing the concept of chance in art. And for
Yes.
me, it begins with Marcel Duchamp with the work he did called Three Stoppages, where he dropped a random thread and made an artwork from that. And utilizing chance, you think of art as a fixed cast in cement or bronze or pigment, since it's come off the wall of a cave. And now you're using something that's just so incredibly exciting, this notion of chance, where the artwork is not preordained, it's not carved in stone. It happens afresh every time according to these random elements of chance that are all generated by these digital technologies. Is, for me, really just it's a great thread of continuity through the history of art.
Right, because I hadn't thought about it that way, but it comes right out of Dub.
So
So it really is art historically. You said Duchamp, which was right, but I'm like, right, Dub. And
I'd love to bring on Noah here. We brought him on, but I didn't introduce him to you. We have Noah Bolanowski here, and Noah, he's a big presence in the digital art community. And Kenny, you'll like this. In particular, he had a podcast yesterday. Several hundred people showed up, a Twitter live called Noah Rants, and people just show up to hear him rant. Now, I think, I don't know, maybe you're a kindred spirit in some way, but we have Noah here to take a spin and say hi to you.
Hi, guys. Absolute pleasure.
Signal.
we couldn't understand. You're frozen, and
You're gurgled.
we couldn't
Gurgled.
really understand what you said.
But
Sorry.
maybe the guy in the red,
We heard you okay, Matthew.
Noah.
Noah the ranter.
I'm going to meet a couple people.
I heard ranting.
Oh, yeah. So we have.
Well, let's go. Fire away whenever you do.
Can you hear me better now?
Okay.
No?
No.
Ew.
All right.
Worse.
All right.
Get
Brian,
closer
Brian,
to
I'm going to take you off for a second, just maybe to simplify the stream. Okay, is this easier now?
I know, you too. I'm ready to fuck things up.
Can you hear me better? Can you hear me better?
I just want to be quiet. We might find out. Matthew, speak, please.
Can you hear me better now? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah,
Yes.
maybe.
Yes.
So we have Noah on. He's a big presence in the digital arts scene. He's a big fan. He's been with Arsenal since day one. Deborah, he's been cheering you on since the beginning, and he had this great Twitter live yesterday called Noah Rants, which was really fun. It was like very passionate, and I loved it. And we talked about this project and others. And so, hi, Noah. He's going to take a spin with us.
It is an absolute pleasure to meet you in person, Deb. I have been influenced by your work since I was a young lad, I guess. One of my best friend's parents is a large collector, and they have your Oyo sculpture in their kitchen. And that was my first introduction to your work, and throughout my entire journey in life so far, all the way up until NYU, it's been a nonstop.
We can't hear you.
We can't hear you.
We're gonna rant ourselves now.
No, shush. We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
There you go. Try
Now?
Yeah, maybe.
Cut to the chase.
Okay.
No, don't cut to
Where
the
did
chase.
you
I
hear
want
me
to know how much
before?
money-
No.
It's gone to this. This is
More
where we
than
go.
that.
No, I can hear
Okay.
you. I can hear you just fine, Noah.
Okay. So yeah, I've been influenced by your work for a very, very long time. And it's an absolute pleasure to meet you in person.
Thank you.
Well, Noah, you want to take a test spin? Shall we do
Yeah,
it?
I'd love to.
Okay, I got your screen on. It looks like you're all queued up.
All right. So I'll click play.
Please do.
We got first spin.
What?
I hope you sell it.
Hey,
Oh,
everybody funk art
I love that.
with the Frank Stella theme in the middle.
Yeah.
There you go. Sorry, everybody funk art.
Funk art. That's a good
So
one.
you have a choice. Do you keep it or do you continue the fun by taking a spin?
I got to
think
spin
it's a
again.
No, I'd keep that.
Yeah, so would I. You guys are not collectors.
I don't know.
That's a
I like the idea of spinning.
You
It's a
wanna
hard
see the
choice.
floor?
Oh, what did I do?
I liked it though.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to spin.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
That was a good one. Uh-oh, this looks good too.
Fingers crossed. With anger art. I like that one.
If you win.
What's
Yeah.
the K? How does that happen?
Oh, that's solid. That's solid.
I give you one. With art, anger as well.
Yeah. Which, by the way, everybody has the right to print theirs too. Should you want to, reorganize a triptych in any way, one can physically.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah. And
So
definitely
that
have an
Oh,
triptych.
So
you
it's
could
even
reorganize.
more.
Oh, cool.
It's even more random. I mean, it could be less random.
Yeah, exactly.
So what you can print each window individually.
Exactly.
Oh, cool.
Exactly.
That's really cool. Fun.
Thank you so much, Noah.
Great
Thanks for
job,
having
Noah.
me.
Did you print it out? No, are you going to keep yours?
Absolutely going to print it out and keep it, both.
What I love about digital art is that you can send it to you can make a light box out of it, you can print it, you can do all sorts
Yeah,
of things. with it.
Very cool.
Put it on your TV, when
Project it onto your neighbor's building.
exactly. Oh, we love.
This is great.
Exactly.
Fun.
So fun.
We'll get over the technology, the
Yeah, you guys are
signal
all
problem.
frozen. We're not sure if to
We're doing
anyone
just
or
fine.
just to us.
All the
We
old
don't know.
people here,
We yell
all
into
the
the
old people are killing the technology, and you guys just can't seem to get it together. But that's okay.
This is so crazy what we're doing. right?
That's what we do.
We had
Where's my
Una on.
NFTs?
We had Una on. Unfortunately, she was going to spin, but she had to drop off. We took slightly too long, but I just want
Do
to
you take
point
any
out.
questions?
What's that? I just
Do you
want to
take any
point out.
questions, perhaps?
I just want to point out our public sale will start in about 3 minutes. So in 3 minutes, it's game on.
That's not
Thank you. I'm very honored.
Yeah.
I think so. Let's talk
Do we
about
have maybe a
I like
spin
you.
for
Yeah.
Kenny to take and/or questions from the audience?
Let's let
Do
Kenny.
it, Kenny. You could do it if you want to screen share.
I'm not hooking up my mom now. I'll get hacked.
All right.
Well, Brian or Noah,
But I
you're,
do-
you're on. Do you guys have any notes or comments or questions for our other special guests?
That's
I
a good
think you
question.
should buy these damn things.
Yeah.
How much are they? What's the price? To mint.
The price is about $400 US. I'm sorry, I'm not sure what that is in ETH at the moment.
0.17 ETH. Yeah.
0.17.
That's a really fair, excessive. What I love about this, really, I sound so corny, but it can make me weak. Art should be accessible to people. So, I mean, it's relative. Some people, it's not a tiny amount of money, but people think that art is prohibitively expensive, and it's not. This is great, cutting edge, of the moment art by a canonized institute. Her work is in the collection of every fucking major museum that exhibits contemporary art across the globe. And you could buy an extraordinary, historically important piece for $400. And ETH is going to turn into an ETF in a few weeks. So ETH is going to go up, your work's going to appreciate, but it's irrelevant. This is just good art at an affordable price. You can put it on your wall. You can do anything you want with it, and it's yours, and it's cool. And it's a really interesting, fascinating piece, and it fits perfectly within Deb's body of work. And that's really what this is all about. Just going forward and not looking back. That's what art is about.
Agreed.
That's
Yeah.
shut everything down.
So good.
Yeah, it's amazing. Exactly. Write that down.
Great.
Somebody.
It's true. It really is
That
true.
was
And we're both like not spring chickens here, and we love it. And this is great. Really
Yeah.
exciting. Thank you for letting me get involved and have a participation in this project.
You're so cute.
I think that's finally she says something nice.
So cute.
I'm truthful to a fault.
Me too.
Yeah, I noticed.
Hello.
No, I
This is
totally
pretty cool.
agree.
Great project. Arsenal is doing great projects.
I think we might have a question that Aaron's trying to get out there. Is that
Hmm?
accurate or no? Were you about to read a question from somebody?
Well, there's Aaron.
Oh, no. My bad.
Back to cars.
No, I think the accessibility point is great. I mean, you think about like 10 years ago, before this existed, the best exposure I could have was maybe buying something at like the Brooklyn Museum, which would not be a unique piece of art. It would be like kind of a merchandise thing. And like, to me, this is like, the fact that we, as I would say I'm like an amateur collector in the big scheme of things. The fact that I have access to renowned artists via this space is such a gift. I mean, there's so many artists I never thought I'd be able to collect that over the last 4 years have entered the space and either done NFTs or sold work for crypto and kind of branched this thing that allowed everybody to have accessibility.
I should say one other thing. I mean, the fact that this project is happening now, post crypto meltdown, the fact that the market didn't constrict, it evaporated. I made this word NFTism for collaboration, communication, conversations, which is what NFTs initially fostered. Then it copied the worst attributes of the art world, being about money, money, money. I called it post-NFTism. I went as far as tattooing it on my arm. I did. I never said I was normal. But you know what? This is an incredible project, and it proves the longevity of this sound technology and art form. This is a great project at an accessible and affordable price. And it's after everyone said NFTs are dead. NFTs are not dead. This is the rebirth that we're experiencing with a great historically important artist, I would say. And it's a great project, it's affordable, and it shows you in the most concrete material way that NFTs are here and they're not going anywhere. And this is a prime example of this technology and this art. It's an art form. And that's what it is, and that's what this firmly establishes. and I'm glad to be a part of it in this little inconsequential way.
Very
And
consequential.
around
Thank
this,
you, Kenny, for so helpful.
I love the notion of
Amazing.
autonomy as well as on the collector side of things, where you're able to have that autonomy in deciding how it's going to be printed. And it's almost collaborative in a respect, but I like that more active role of being a collector. And then additionally, it's very interesting to me in terms of permanence. And, through chemical processes, prints will always fade no matter what medium they're done in. I like the idea of this being a permanent in time, locking in those colors in a way that for generations to come can use that as a reference point. And I find that very interesting as well.
Well, you said a great word, because I think it resonates throughout Deb's entire body of work: autonomy. This is about the autonomy of the artist against the gatekeeping art world. This is about the freedom of people to think and to act in a way that's so important. The art is autonomous. The artist is autonomous. You have the power. You're not relying on any of the 7 galleries you've had in the past. This is pure artist-driven independence in the best, most incredible form. And I wish it's a great precedent that there should be more artists. Initially with NFTism and NFTs, artists took things into their own hands and were able to enter the marketplace without relying on anyone or anything. And we're back to the best parts of where we started in this whole enterprise.
I sort of always think it's hard to find an art world establishment person who is kind of pro NFT, and it's hard to find an artist who's anti that. I mean, every artist I speak with.
I don't agree.
Really?
I think a lot of art world artists are absolutely turning a blind eye to this.
Maybe turning a blind eye, but I never get a reaction. Speaking to, I'm just in a very privileged position that I have access to these artists, but who really have sold for many years, if not decades. They, even if they don't want to do it, they can understand the value in it, or understand that it's something new and that, the medium's progressing in whatever direction, even if they're not getting on board. I rarely get a sort of, turned off answer, which one does from, gallerists, advisors,
My experience, I mean, there was an artist who I won't say who is a painter who made animations throughout his career, and he called me about NFTs early on in 21, and then he said he didn't want to. I asked him to be in an exhibition I curated, and he said no because he was fearful that it would cannibalize his painting market. And I find a lot of artists are really resistant to NFTs and the whole space.
Can I say, what we did was cannibalize my painting practice because I can't think of another word. We cannibalized my painting history from the last 20 years, basically.
But don't you think it's not a zero-sum game?
100%. It's like we cannibalized it, then spit it out in a zillion different new ways. And it's, you're giving me a whole other way to look at it. Like just what you've been saying. On top of being the best advertisement ever I've ever heard for this, it's like the way how you're talking about it is like, oh yeah, I hadn't thought about it that way. I hadn't thought about it that way. And I'm thinking about it that way. And, I think the brilliance of this collaboration, and I really credit Arsenal with all of this, is figuring out this collaborative process in the NFT itself, the little chance, the collaboration with if you like it, you can print it out, you could keep it. If you don't, you could spin again. You could, I hadn't thought all of this through till I'm listening to you.
But that's one of another really key component of art is that art should be open-ended. Even the artist is sometimes the last person to speak to about what their art even means.
Well, but also it speaks back to you. Yeah. Like I've made paintings that I thought I knew what I was doing, and I achieved what I thought. But then as I look at it, the object itself says 100 different other things I hadn't thought about when I conceived the first idea.
And over time,
and then it just keeps going and going and going. And this is almost a physical manifestation or digital manifestation of that process.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So we've been over an hour.
So it's very much art, by the way, is what
Deb was trying to say. So I guess this has extended my art into the digital space Just like I said, I didn't want it to, but he did.
It's a great thing.
But you explained it to me, so now I'm like, okay, sorry, you're right.
Art is not a club. Art is about philosophy and thought, and
Totally.
it's an open-ended equation. That's what we're lacking in politics, with all of these road decisions and the situation we're in this whatever. Art is about fostering communication, self-expression, and conversations, and we've achieved it big time in the last hour. So I just want to thank everyone, all of you guys. It's enlightening to me, and it's an honor. This is what I live for, is that, yeah, to have these conversations makes me think, makes me grow, and it's extraordinary. And it's really, I'm appreciative. Thank you all.
Thank
for
you.
your time. Thanks for our guests for coming on, Brian and Noah. It's really sweet.
We recorded this. I hope we'll be able to show this to a wider audience, hopefully.
That's right.
Hope you got that, folks. Sorry, I'm such an asshole. I can't help
He's a
myself.
professional asshole. It's the brand.
But I'm not
That's
otherwise.
why I wanted Kenny. I wanted to talk to Kenny. Asshole to asshole. You know. But thank you guys for joining. It's great to see you again,
and
Brian.
great,
And great to meet
help,
you
great
guys.
questions, and great support, and great autonomy should be the word for the day.
I love
Like
it.
Sesame Street.
Thanks
I love it. Hey,
for having us in your home, Kenny. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Now it's like MTV Cribs. Get the fuck
Exactly,
out of my house.
exactly.
Get out of my house and take your dirty coffee cups.
All right. Well, thank you to the stream. Appreciate everyone showing up, everyone recording. This is recorded, so everyone checking it out later. You can skip through the part where we were fussing over the screen share. It's only a couple minutes, but amazing. All right.
That's right.
Okay, I'm going to end the stream. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.